Hello everyone, welcome back to SwitchUp, and the first of our 2 sales video double this weekend to celebrate 100,000 subs. Yeah, we're a bit late, but we thought we had to get it done because you guys really are awesome. Now if you want to win a free game, there's going to be lots given away over the next couple of days. Simply leave a comment down below and stick around for the end of the video where I'll give you a few more details. This episode was sponsored by the awesome looking Skyforge, which is an MMO coming to Nintendo Switch. If you're new to the channel, do consider sticking around and hitting all the notifications if you like Switch content. What's on sale? Let's find out. First up, and yes, I mentioned it in the last sales video, but it has to be mentioned again while it's on sale. It's so worth picking up. It's Dragon Quest XI's Echoes of the Elusive Age, which is still 43% off, taking it down to £28, and it's the first major drop it's seen. I know it's not quite on the US sale yet, so you guys are going to have to wait a bit longer, but there are also a few of you who are willing to set up a UK region eShop on your Switch and make the purchase that way. If you do that, the best way of doing it I've found is to buy a UK eShop gift card online. There's loads of places you can do it, places like cdkeys.com, PC Game Supply, Oz Gamers. There's tons of different websites that do that. I've personally got an account for the US, Canada, Australia, Japan, and a couple of others as well, and I've had no issues at all. Skyforge is coming to Nintendo Switch this fall. It's a sci-fi action MMO set within a breathtaking world where you get to play as an immortal with some incredible powers. It looks awesome, and I think what we need on Switch are some really good MMOs. It's going to be completely free to download, but in order to encourage a good solid player base, they've provided us a link which is down in the top pinned comment. If you go there and register and sign up, when the game's released you'll receive a load of free gifts, which for anyone who's ever played an MMO will know will give you a nice little leg up. On a personal note, it's such a pleasure to finally see a decent one arriving on Switch, and this one looks delightful. It has an interesting dynamic combat system, and they've completely reworked it for use with the Switch and specifically the Joy-Cons. But if you'd rather use a Pro Controller, then you can do that as well. There are 18 different classes of Immortal, each with their own abilities and magics. And interestingly, you can switch between these classes depending on the mission you want to undertake, or the playstyle you prefer. There's already a raft of new content planned for the game, and for people with my kind of budget, it's completely free. But yeah, the SwitchUp link is down in the description and also the top comment. Click it now, get yourself set up so that you're ready for when it launches this fall. Wouldn't it be awesome if we could set up a SwitchUp guild? Man, shotgun be in the tank. If you've not done so, join our Discord and we'll make sure we set up a room specifically for Skyforge when it launches. Next up, we've got Tales of Vesperia, which is 50% off, matching its previous all-time low, with a sale that goes on until October the 8th. It's quite an underrated RPG. It falls in between the Dragon Quest and Ni no Kuni games in terms of how much attention it's given, but actually it's brilliant. Now, it is the 10th game in the series and was originally released for Xbox 360 back in 2008, with this definitive edition being released to celebrate the 10th anniversary of the game, in which they updated the HD graphics, included a few new music tracks, added some mini-games, some bosses, and a load of unreleased DLC costumes. The final thing they added were 2 more playable characters, and I cannot stress how much of a refined JRPG experience this is, despite its relatively old age. Well worth picking up at that price. Next up then, we've got Saints Row the Third, which originally released with quite a few performance issues. It's currently 55% off until October the 5th, so you haven't got a great deal of time to pick it up. It features offline single player, local wireless 1 to 2 or online 1 to 2. It received a lovely patch which improved performance immensely and basically enabled dynamic resolution scaling to smooth and increase the performance across the entire game. You're looking at around about 25 to 50 hours to complete this one, but I really enjoyed it and we do have a review on the channel. Unlike the fourth title, which went a bit more off the wall with the Matrix style gameplay, this one was traditional Saints Row carnage. You have to set up and establish your Saints, who are a large gang. You can customize many of the aspects, including completely changing the way your character looks. And if you're after a GTA-esque experience, there's certainly more than enough content here. And playing online co-op is just too much fun, really. It's carnage.
You ready for this?
Time to get to work.
Then there's Wargroove, one of the best games on Nintendo Switch. Taking inspiration from many classic titles, this is a turn-based strategy for up to 4 players. There are 12 different characters with their own stories, etc. that you can choose for as your commander. And there's also online as well as co-op play if you'd rather go that route. What's really cool is they added the create your own adventure mode where you can design and share your own series of battlefields, etc. with the campaign editor, which adds so much to the game. The story's based around a new queen on a quest against, well, it's going to be monsters and stuff, isn't it? Let's be honest. Or otherworldly forces. It's always the same, but for some reason we always want to beat them. And it's got quite a few cutscenes in there. It's a very good title and well worth picking up. This has got a nice small download size of 432 megs, and it's going to take you anywhere between 40 and 70 hours to complete.
You'll never see me coming!
Greetings.
I'm gonna break you!
Next up, we've got one of my favourite genres if you've watched the channel for more than 5 minutes or listened to the intro music to this video, and it's Deponia. This is a classic style point and click adventure, fully voice acted, beautifully hand-drawn visuals, and it's currently at its lowest price, 90% off, taking it down to £3.59 or your regional equivalent. It's a reasonably long point and click at around about 10 hours and comes from Daedalic, who were described as the LucasArts of Germany, which I would say is quite apt, as this has the feeling of a classic LucasArts adventure, not only from the visuals but down to the humour. It's completely off the wall. You're helping Rufus, a poor farm boy from a junkyard, to win over the girl of his dreams. And as you can imagine, a load of ridiculous events take place in the middle. It's got a download size of 1 gig and that sale ends on October the 12th.
Help Rufus to escape from his home planet and experience a wild story full of surprising twists, hot pursuits, and the craziest love story since the dawn of...
Both of the Metroid games are on sale and, well, they're amazing. If you like first-person shooters, then you're going to enjoy these. You can customize your weapons as you make your way through the dark Metro system, and there's a full story based around Artyom and these strange, hideous monsters. It's going to appeal to fans of titles like Stalker, Shadow of Chernobyl, and has gyroscopic control implementation and some of the best visuals on Switch. It's one of those ports where you're not quite sure how they managed to make it look this good. You're looking at 45% off, taking these down to about 12 quid each, and they hold a slightly larger download size of 6.2 gigs, and it's going to take you anywhere between, well, about 12 to 20 hours to complete. Then there's probably one of my favourite games actually on Switch. It's Red Faction Guerrilla, the Remastered Edition, which is on sale until October the 5th, so you haven't got a great deal of time. It's 50% off, taking it down to 13 quid, and that's its lowest ever price. This one has offline play, but it also has quite a nice little deathmatch mode which can be played online, with up to 16 players, making it a bit of a rarity on the Switch. It's set 50 years after the events of the first game, and you take the role of an insurgent fighter who begins working with the Red Faction movement. It has all the destructibility that you remember from back in the day. It's so much fun. You could rig an entire building to blow, have a series of enemies chase you through, and then just as you get out the other side, detonate and just drop the entire structure on top of them. So satisfying. There's a really good story and set of missions here, and it's hugely underrated in my opinion, not only on Switch but since its launch. I love this game. It's 13.8 gigs, which is making it a bit of a chunky beast, and it's going to take you anywhere between 20 and 30 hours to complete. probably one of the absolute bargains of the week. We've got Bomber Crew at a measly £1.19, which is 90% off, and that goes on until October the 15th. This is a brilliant game, and really, the amount of work that goes into making a good game, for £1, I think you'd be rude not to. You have to prepare your crew for different missions, and it's got a real strategy, like survival sim feel to it. It's set in and around World War II, and obviously, as the title suggests, you're part of that bombing crew, where you'll have to be managing your fuel, ammo, hydraulics, and it's all physics-based as well, which is very cool. You can change the liveries and paint jobs, and I'm not going to lie, it is pretty tricky when you get to some of those middle to late stages. There is a number of DLCs for this, so if you enjoy it for £1, you can buy a bit more. It's got a small download of 580 megs, and it's one of those games that you could just come back to time and time again. Battle Chasers Night War was one of the first review codes we got of a big release that came on the Switch, and I absolutely loved it. You know, it really reminded me in many ways of something like Final Fantasy VII in terms of the battle system. It does get grindy, there's no two ways about it. Later in the game it gets a little grindy, in fact it gets a lot grindy, but that's kind of what you expect with this 90s influenced RPG style combat. But having said that, it's worth noting. Now, it's currently 60% off, taking it down to about £14, but everything about this one screams quality. The artwork is delightful, it has lovely visuals, and there's quite a few little secret bits to it as well. There's some very cool segments. There are lots of different dungeons that you can optionally explore in the overworld, a couple of bosses, and a nice story that is layered over the whole experience that really kept me interested until the end, despite that grindy climax. Grindy climax. No, that sounds wrong. It's got a download size of 2.6 gigs, and it's going to take you anywhere from 50 to 70 hours to complete. Last but not least on the games you should buy, we've got Torchlight II. Now, Glen reviewed this on the channel, and obviously, as you know, Torchlight 3 should be coming to Switch quite soon, and it's currently 40% off until October the 12th. If you're looking for a multiplayer action game, then look no further. It's a very good title that perhaps got a little bit overshadowed by the release of Diablo on the Switch. There's a ton of gameplay here. You can get a pet unicorn. Come on. It has 1 to 4 player online play, and I guess that's also where it falls down in that it doesn't have couch co-op mode. It's full of monsters, loot, treasure, gear, and if you've got a group of players to play with online, it's absolutely astounding. You can customize your characters, it has that open, ever-changing world, and really it's the pet system that I love the most. It does have a New Game Plus as well if you're looking for something with perhaps a bit more longevity. This one was going to take you anywhere between 30 and 70 hours to complete, but then you've got the New Game Plus as well. As always, we have now a couple of games that you should avoid because I really didn't enjoy them, and in all honesty, they smell a little bit. First up, we've got Police Stories, which should have been incredible. I was really looking forward to it. I thought, oh yes, thank you very much. Couch co-op, top-down tactical shooter. This might be like the rebirth of Police Quest, but it wasn't. It was just a bit weak. Every aspect from the controls to the storyline, I didn't really enjoy it at all. And it holds a delightfully low Metacritic score of 3.8 from users, and no professionals reviewed it. So that's it's a good sign. No thanks. And then there's the reason that sometimes I want to throw my Nintendo Switch out the window, and it's with the awful games like this. Animated Jigsaws, beautiful Japanese scenery, the game. It's currently 50% off, so, you know, ay caramba. As you'd expect, you've got animated jigsaws of beautiful Japanese scenery, which you might have been able to guess from the title, but look, I don't mind relaxing games and things like that, but a lot of these are just poor, aren't they, and not really what you want to see on the Switch. But, you know, you might really enjoy this. It's got 60, 240, or, wait for it, 240-piece puzzles, which to my eye, based on the eShop description, is the same thing twice. Yeah, I'm gonna say avoid this one, but you know, there might be that one person out there who has now just jumped out of his seat, he's got his credit card ready, and he is ready. They also do 2 other versions of this. You can also buy Animated Jigsaw's Japanese Women, which is £7.99, or, wait for it, Animated Jigsaw's Wild Animals. So I don't know who they've got choosing the different themes, but Japanese women and wild animals are top of his list. A big thanks to all of you who have watched this video. I'm going to go and make a few purchases. Maybe I'll go for the wild animals one, I'm not sure. And do check out the comments down below for our winners as always. Remember, tomorrow we'll have another sales video. We don't normally do that, but we're trying to celebrate by giving away free games and also spending too much money. For all things Switch, all the time, keep it Switch up. Cheers guys, see ya!